The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 3, Section 3, Chapter 3, The Naturalness of the Bhakti Yoga and its central secret. Those who, with constant attention, always worship you, and those who worship the undifferentiated, the absolute, of this who are the greatest yogis? Arjun asked of Sri Krishna. The answer was, those who concentrating their mind on me worship me with eternal constancy and are endowed with the highest faith. They are my best worshippers. They are the greatest yogis. Those that worship the absolute, the indescribable, the undescribable and undifferentiated, the omnipresent, the unthinkable, and the all comprehending, the immovable and the eternal, by controlling the play of their organs and having the conviction of the same in regard to all things. They also, being engaged in doing good to all beings, come to me alone. But to those whose mind have been devoted to the unmanifested absolute, the difficulty of the struggle along the way is much greater. For it is indeed with the great difficulty that the path of unmanifested absolute is trodden by any embodied being. Those who, having offered up all their work up to me, with entire reliance on me, mediate on me, and worship me without any attachment to anything else. Them I soon lift up from the ocean of ever recurring births and deaths, as their mind is wholly attached to me. Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are both referred to here. Both may be said to have been defined in the above passage. Jnana Yoga is grand and it is high philosophy, and the almost every human being thinks curiously enough, and he can surely do everything required of him by philosophy, but it is really very difficult to live truly the life of philosophy. We are often apt to run into great danger in trying to guide our life by philosophy. This world may be said to be divided between personal or dominical nature, who thinks the caretaking of the body to be the be all and the end all of existence, and the persons of godly nature who realize that the body is simply a mean to an end, an instrument intended for the culture of the soul. The devil can and indeed does create the scriptures for his own purpose, and what the bad man does has much as it offers inducement to what the good man does. This is the great danger in Jnana Yoga. But Bhakti Yoga is natural, sweet, gentle. The Bhaktas does not take such high flights on the Jnana Yogi, and therefore he is not apt to have such big falls until the bondage of the soul pass away. It cannot, of course, be free. Whatever may be the nature of the path that the religious man takes, whatever may be the nature of the path that a religious man takes. Here is a passage showing how, in the case of one of the blessed gopis, the soul binding chains of both merit and demerit were broken. The intense pleasure in meditating on God took away the binding effects of her good deeds. Then her intense misery of soul is not attained unto him washed off all her sinful prop- propensities, and then she became free. In Bhakti Yoga, the central secret is therefore to know that the various passions and feelings and emotion in the human heart are not wrong in themselves, only they have to be carefully controlled and given higher and higher direction until they attain the very highest condition of excellence. The highest direction is that which takes us to God. Every other direction is lower. Every other direction is lower. We find the pleasure and pain are very common and oft recurring feelings in our lives. When a man feels pain because he has not well or some such worldly thing, he is giving a wrong direction to the feeling. His pain has its uses. Let a man feel pain that he has not reached the highest, and that he has not reached God, and that pain will be to his salvation. When you become glad that you have a handful of coins, it is wrong direction given to the faculty of joy. It should be given a higher direction. It must be made to serve the highest idea. Pleasure in that kind of deal must surely be our highest joy. This same thing is true of all our other feelings. The Bhakta says that not one of them is wrong. He gets hold of them all and points them unfallingly towards God. Chapter 4, The Form of Love Manifestation. The Forms of Love Manifestation. Here are some of the forms in which love manifests itself. First, there is reverence. Why do people show reverence to temple and holy places? Because he is worshipped there and his presence is associated with all such places. Why do people in every country pay reverence to teachers of religion? It is natural for human heart to do so because all such teachers preach the Lord. At bottom, reverence is a growth out of love. We can none of us revere him whom we do not love. Then comes priti, pleasure of God. What an immense pleasure men take in objects of the senses. They go anywhere, run through any danger to get the thing which they love and the thing which their senses like. What is wanted of the bhaktas is this very kind of intense love which has, however, to be directed to God. Then there is a sweetest of pains, viraha, the intense misery due to absence of the beloved. When a man feels intense misery because he has not attained to God, has not known that which is the only thing worth to be known, becomes in consequence with dissatisfied and almost mad. Then there is viraha, and this state of mind makes him feel disturbed in the presence of anything other than the beloved. In earthly love, we see how often this viraha comes. Again, when men are really and intense in love with woman or woman in man, or human with men, they feel a kind of naturally annoyance in the presence of all those whom they do not love. Exactly the same state of impatience is regarded to think that not love comes to the mind when parabhakti holds sway over it. Even to talk about things other than God becomes distasteful then. Think of him alone, and give up all other vain words. Those who talk of him alone, the bhaktas finds to be friendly to him, while those who talk of anything else appear to him to be unfriendly. A still higher stage of love is reached when life itself is manifested for the sake of one ideal of love. When life itself is considered beautiful and worth living only on account of that love. Without it, such a life would not remain even for a moment. Life is sweet because it thinks of the beloved. Tadhiyat, tadhiyat, hisness. Tadhiyat means hisness. Comes when a man becomes perfect according to bhakti. When he has become blessed, when he has attained God, when he has touched the feet of God as it were, then his whole world is purified and completely changed. All his purpose in the life then becomes fulfilled. Yet many such bhaktas live on just to worship him. That is the bliss that is the bliss, the only pleasure in life which they will not give up. O King, such is the blessed quality of Hari, that even those who have become satisfied with everything, all the knots of whose heart have been cut sunder, even they love the Lord for love's sake, the Lord whom all the gods worship, all the lovers of liberation and all the knowers of the Brahman. Such is the power of love. When a man has forgotten himself altogether and does not feel that anything belongs to him, he then acquires the state of tadiyat. Everything is sacred to him because it belongs to the beloved. Even in regard to earthly love, the lover thinks that everything belongs to his beloved in secret is sacred and so dear to him. He loves even the piece of cloth belonging to the darling of his heart. In the same way, when a person loves a Lord, the whole universe becomes dear to him, and because it is all his. Chapter 5th, Universal Love and How It Leads to Self Surrender. How can we love the Vyashti, the particular, without first loving the Samashti, the universe? God is the Samashti, the generalized and the abstract universe whole, and the universe that we see is a Vyashti, the particularized thing. To love the whole universe is possible only by the way of loving Samashti, the universe, which is, as it were, the one unity in which are to be found millions and millions of smaller unities. The philosophers of India do not stop at a particulars, they cast a hurried glance at the particulars and immediately start to find the generalized forms, which will include all particulars. The search after the universe is the one search of Indian philosophy and religion. The Jnani aims to the wholeness of the thing, at that one absolute and generalized being, knowing which he knows everything. The Bhakta wishes to realize that one generalized abstract person, in loving whom he loves the whole universe. The yogi wishes to have possession of that one generalized form of power by controlling which he controls his whole universe. The Indian mind, throughout his history, has been directed to this kind of singular search after the universe in everything, in science, in psychology, in love, in philosophy. So, the conclusion to which the Bhakta comes is that if you go on merely loving one person after another, you may go on loving them so far as infinite length of time without being in the least able to love the world as the whole. When at last the central idea is, however, arrived at that sum total of all love is God, that sum total of the aspiration of all the souls in the universe, whether they are free or bound or struggling towards liberation, is God. Then alone it becomes possible for anyone to put forth universal love. God is the Samishti, and this visible universe is God, differentiated and made manifest. If we love this sum total, we love everything. Loving the world and doing it good will all come easily then. We have to obtain this power only by loving God first. Otherwise, it is no joke to do good to the world. Everything is His and He is my lover. I love Him, says the Bhakta. In this way, everything comes sacred to the Bhakta because all things are his, all are his children, his body, his manifestation. How they may be hurt anyone, how they may be not love anyone. With the with the love of God will come as sure effect the love of everyone in the universe. The nearer we approach God, the more do we begin to see that all things are in Him. When the soul succeeds in appropriating the bliss of His supreme power, it also begins to see Him in everything. Our heart will thus become an eternal fountain of love. And when we reach even higher state of this love, all the thing difference, all the little difference between the things of the world are entirely lost. Man is seen no more as man, but only as God. The animal is seen no more as animal, but as a God. Even the tiger is no more a tiger, but manifestation of God. Thus, in this intense state of bhakti, worship is offered to everyone, to every life, and to every being. Knowing that Hari, the Lord, is in every being, the wise have thus to manifest unanswering love towards all beings. As a result of this kind of intense, all absorbing love, coming comes the feeling of perfect self surrender, the conviction that nothing that happens is against us, apratikul, apratikul. Then the loving soul is able to say, if pain comes, welcome pain. If misery comes, it will say, welcome misery. You are also from the beloved. If the serpent comes, it will say, welcome serpent. If the death comes, such a bhakta will welcome it with smile. Blessed am I that they all come to me. They are welcomed. The bhakta in this state of the perfect resignation arising out of intense love to God and to all that are his ceases to distinguish between the pleasure and the pain in so far as they affect him. He does not know what it is to complain of pain or misery, and this kind of uncomplaining resignation to the will of God, who is all love, is indeed a worthier acquisition than all the glory of grand and heroic performance. To the vast majority of mankind, the body is everything. The body is all the universe to him. To them, bodily enjoyment is their all in all. This demon of the worship of the blood body, this demon of the worship of the body and of the things of the body has entered into us all. We may indulge in all tall talk and take a very high flights, but we are like vultures all the same. Our minds our mind is directed to the piece of carrions down below. But why should our body be saved? Says from the tiger. Why may we not give it over to the tiger? The tiger will thereby be pleasured or be pleased. The tiger will thereby be pleased, and that is not although altogether so very far from self sacrifice and worship. Can you search the realization of such an idea in which all sense of self is completely lost? It is very dizzy height on the pinnacle of the religion of love, and few in this world have ever climbed up to it. But until a man reaches that highest point of every ready and ever willing self sacrifice, he cannot become perfect bhakta. We may all manage to maintain our bodies more or less satisfactory and for long or shorter intervals of time. Nevertheless, our bodies have to go. There is no permanence about them. Blessed are they whose bodies get destroyed in the service of others. Wealth and even life itself, the sage always holds ready for the service of others. In this world, there being one thing certain, that it is far better than that this body dies in the good cause than in the bad one. We may drag our life on for 50 years or for 100 years, but after that, what is it that happens? Everything that is the result of combination must get dissolved and die. There must and will come a time for it to be decomposed. Jesus and Buddha and Muhammadan are all dead. All the great prophets and preachers of the world are dead. In this evanescent world where everything is falling to pieces, we have to make the highest use of what time we have. Says the Bhakta, and really the highest use of life is to hold it at the service of all beings. It is the horrible body idea that breeds all the selfishness in the world, which this just this one delusion that we are wholly the body we own, and that we must by all possible means try our very best to preserve and to please it. If you know that you are positively other than your body, you have then none to fight with or struggle against. You are dead to all ideas of selfishness. So the Bhakta declares that we have to hold ourselves as if we are altogether dead to all the things of the world, and that is indeed self surrender. Let things come as they may. This is the meaning of thy will be done. Not going about fighting and struggling and thinking all the while that God wills all our own weaknesses and worldly ambitions. It may be that good comes, it may be that good comes even out of our selfish struggles. That is, however, God's lookout. The perfect bhakta ideas must be never to will or and work for themselves. Lord, they build, Lord, they build high temples in your name. That they make large gift in your name. I am poor and I have nothing, so I take this body of mine and place it at your feet. Do not give me up, O God. Such is the prayer proceeded out of the depth of the Bhakta's heart. To him who has experienced it, this eternal sacrifice of self unto the beloved Lord is higher by far than all wealth and power, than even all soaring thoughts of renounce and enjoyment. The peace of the Bhakta's calms, the peace of the Bhakta's calm resignation is a peace that passes all understanding and is of incomparable value. Apratikula, this apratikula is the state of the mind in which it has no interest and naturally knows nothing that is opposed to it. In this state of sublime resignation, everything in the shape of attachment goes away completely, except that one all absorbing love to Him, in whose all things live and move and have their being. This attachment of love to God is indeed one that does not bind the soul but effectively breaks all its bondages. Chapter 6. The highest knowledge and the higher love are one of to the true lover. The highest knowledge and the higher love are one to the true lovers. The Upanishad distinguish between a higher knowledge and the lower knowledge, and to the Bhakta there is really no differentiation between this higher knowledge and this his higher love, that is Parabhakti. The Mundaka Upanishad says, the knower of the Brahman declared that there are two kinds of knowledge worth to be known, namely the higher, that is Para, and the lower, that is Apara. Of these, the lower knowledge consists of